Okay, welcome along to the second episode of the Point and Reunion podcast, and today's podcast is sponsored by the Bentley Group. And the Bentley Group are a group in Derry that have all licensed premises and restaurants. They have the Gate, they have the Bentley itself, they have the Bentley Steakhouse, they have Blank 48, Blank 47, the Embankment, where I DJ from time to time.
The Magnet.
The Magnet, where you join quite a few. And they do private parties, cater for all your occasions, tow and ski, you know, great people. And their staff's really, really good. And they're actually doing a promotion over the winter for the cup for the cost of living, and they're giving out free starters and free desserts on their main courses. They try and entice people on and take the cost of living thing. So fair play to tow and ski and the Bentley Group for that. So if you're down in Derry, call Andy at one of the Bentley bars or one of their eateries and get something to eat, because the food's amazing and it's good crack and good service. So Paul, how have you been?
I've been alright, Charlie.
And the tickets are flying high.
Tickets are flying out at the minute. Don't leave it too long if you're looking to go, because they are going quite quickly. They've even surprised me. I didn't think it would sell as well as it's going now at the minute. So get
exciting
on.
times.
Definitely, it's going to be a cracking night.
It is going to be a cracking. I hear a lot of people texting and messaging saying that they can't wait now, and it seems to be a lot of the older heads. Like I know where most of the people that comes to our thing now is between 40 and 50, and there seems to be a lot of older heads. They're all saying, no, this year, it's me done and all, but they're enticing them out like too. So
there's a lot of them coming back. A lot of messages on Facebook I've got anyway are all from all the old heads. They're definitely going down, all the people that went to the point. So it'll be great to see them all again, because I haven't seen some of them in years.
And I see one of the short girls coming and stuff.
Is Aria's
coming. So it's great. So like the point that was an institution that me and you DJed on. That was one of the biggest club nights in the Northwest, and we have some of the original DJs coming back to play. We have Big Steve Vertigo, who you brought over 30 years ago,
and we're bringing him back again now this time.
And he's like Derry's adopted son. Everybody loves him. Like he's coming back. You have Gleeve's
coming back down again. It'll be great to see Gleeve, and then Jacko's coming as well. So we've got the Belfast Lion connection kicking back on with, and they were regulars in the point back in the day. So
Jacko was a resident too for a while, wasn't he?
That's right.
When you left.
When I left for a while, I went to Simon Mills. No, it'll be great to see. And then Biss is back again, so Colin will be coming out of retirement and coming back down and playing a few tunes with us as well. And then thank God Darren's coming down too, who was a wee fledgling when the point in was going, and he's coming back for his 50th birthday as well.
And he's doing the vinyl room with a couple of us and a couple of other guests are going to do the vinyl room. That promises to be really good, that vinyl room. I mean, he's doing an exclusive set for the 30 years of the point on. We did do one for me, you and Bass, we haven't seen each other all together in a good way. So we actually got to play at a festival there in the summer, the Jigga Jigga Festival. And me and you done back to back and Bass done the end, and it was a great night, wasn't it?
Yeah, we had a cracking time that
night.
Was
great.
And
it was great.
We done just. It took you back to nostalgia. We put everything through.
There was the Prodigy and bit of Italian house and bit of everything. Just so there was a bit of trance, and
you're still picking up loads of listens to that.
It is. You can catch that mix on SoundCloud, and you can also see it on our YouTube page, which is Point and Reunion 1, where you'll get this podcast. This second episode of the podcast is just this wee bit here live, but we have a few interviews from some DJs and things, and they'll be coming on just after we're finished talking. But there's been good feedback and all.
It's all systems go now. It's going to positive. No matter what happens now, it's going to be a cracking night, Charlie. It's just everything's just set up for it. The buzz on it's exceptional. Everybody's really looking.
And there seems to be a lot of people from Belfast and everything coming down and travelling too.
People coming from everywhere. I've got messages from everywhere to come to it. And then what's making it ever so exciting as well is the venue's getting redeveloped, and the guys are well down the track now. That's nearly finished, and it's looking amazing. There's a whole brand new state-of-the-art sound system get into the venue as well, and I'm very happy that I went down and picked it and took a look at it, because it's going to be outstanding with a DJ box above the bar and everything else too, and the way it's all going to be lit. It's just going to be
it's going to be class.
It's going to be set up properly for it. You know what I mean? It's going to be.
So don't forget, there's not very many tickets left, so these have been worn. Get on and get your tickets as quick as possible before it sells out, because we don't want to get messages. They say, "Oh, geez, we must have booked." No, there's nothing we can do. Our hands are tied, like sort of thing. So
we have a limited capacity. So what we have out now is what we have out. That's it.
But no, it's all going good and stuff. And I think Cool Dusks are down to their last
last 20-25 tickets.
Tickets now too. So, but it'd be great to see, because I was at somebody that used to go to the point and passed away there recently, and they had a sort of wake thing for him, and it was all heads that used to go to the point and was seeing all them people too then, you know, and reminiscing and you know about you know, seeing all them people just to go.
Get everybody back together again. I just can't wait to see them all again, because you don't see them very often anymore, because we're not out in all the bars and we're not in nightclubs anymore like we used to be, because let's face it, Charlie, you're getting on about it.
I know, I'm getting on about that.
You don't get to pick up on them, so to get everybody in a room together again and go back through nostalgia, through them days, get a wee chat, catch up with everybody, and just have a good time and have a great night out. I'm really looking forward to it.
I know, it's going to be good. It's going to be good. So in this podcast, you'll be getting an interview from Steve Vertigo, and he's going to be talking about the first time he came to the point, about his first time in Halloween. It was unreal. We'll let him tell that story. But you've great memory. Me and you and Steve and a whole lot of us are great friends this year. Like, he's been to weddings,
and we've done so many gigs since then and everything else, and been everywhere more or less together. And been at everybody's weddings and everything else too.
But he does show his age, because when he comes over here now, all he does is sleep.
Well, he has getting on.
It must be a comedy, it's sticking it out in now, so it is.
Well, he's not that funny, you know, he tries his best.
But he does try his best. No, I think he's pretty good, to be honest. But
no, he's coming on definitely. I'm sorry, big lad. I'm only joking.
But so it'll be great to see him and all too, and see all the old heads and the DJs. But he's going to talk. He talks about his story and, you know, how he found it and the whole Kelly's things, because like as we were talking about before in the first podcast, there was a whole weekend. Like, you had Thursday nights, you were going to somewhere in Derry at the venue Hennessy's, then you were Point on Friday, Kelly's on a Saturday, or Circus on a Saturday night, Tokyo Joe's and a fucking...
You go on all weekend.
And then back to Point on a Sunday.
Finish on a Monday or something. If you're lucky, and if you got a few hours sleep in between that, you were doing well,
I think I used to sleep there Thursday.
Then
and dare anybody try to wake me, I'd have took the head from underneath them. But that's the way it is.
Could have been worse. Could have been working for
But so we're going to just go on to the videos that we've recorded, the interviews, so I hope you enjoy them, and check back again. There could be another one if everything goes well. We'll see what happens. But don't forget, tickets, schedule.com and Cool Dusks Derry. Alright, Paul?
Get on it, Charlie.
Good man.
Good afternoon, Stephen. Welcome along to the second edition of the Point and Podcast.
Charles, how are you? Nice to see you, mate.
I'm good. Don't call me Charles neither, for that's my fucking granny calls
You
me
just called me Stephen. You just called me Stephen, so if we
sorry, Stephen.
Yeah, good to see you,
so
mate.
All good. So, how's things going? Are you looking forward now to the 30-year reunion next week in the Point On?
I am, mate. I kind of wish it was 10 years, but yeah, 30 years. We're just going to take it on the chin, haven't we? It's quite a while, that, but it's quite a testament to the club that it's still going. You know, that we still have reunions and remembering it, isn't it?
Yeah, there's been some really cracker reunions over the years. The one at St Column's Hall, I think, was the highlight. You didn't do that one, did you? Or did you? No, you didn't.
Thanks a lot. Is that why it was the highlight? Yeah. Is that what you said?
No, but it was just because of the venue and stuff. Like, it just was like the Point. I know it was like really dark and big crowds, and they were all going for it. But to be fair, like, most of the reunions have been fantastic. Even the one that we done on Lush, along with the Kellys and Point On reunion, I mean, Chris was still on there.
Yeah, that was pretty epic, that one.
That was a great night, like. And then we were stuck in the ice cream van and...
I've forgotten about the ice cream van. Yeah, I was banging my head every 30 seconds in there.
That's right, But no, there's been some great reunions, some guests, but I'd say you've done majority of the reunions. Like, you've been over here. I've known you 30 years.
It's because I've known you all that long. I've got loads of like blackmail secrets on you, so if you don't put me on, you know there's going to be trouble.
I think I've got plenty of you. We'll just say nothing more than that. Like, if you want to play that game, like, you don't come to a gunfight with a knife, Steve.
You watch too many films.
I'm getting red now because I'm sort of sitting thinking, what's he going to come out with next? But no, we've known each other 30 years. I met you, I met you from Kelly's when you used to, when Chris brought me over and stuff like that there, but I really got to sit and chat with you when I used to do the warm-ups in the Point. Then, because I was doing the warm-ups, if there was another, say Paul was going on after me, I usually went and sat with the guest DJ, and that's how me and you formed a friendship.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, that's when I first got chatting to you properly. I mean, I think I first came over in '92 to Easter '92. Chris Hurley got me over to Kelly's, and he'd heard some of my tapes, and we just got a phone call from the blue. It was the first time I'd been to Northern Ireland, and it was kind of, back then there was no internet and stuff like that, so all we knew about Northern Ireland. I was in Liverpool at the time. All we knew about Northern Ireland at the time was what you see on the news and stuff like that.
The Troubles.
Yeah. And you know, obviously it's not a straight picture of what was going on, but that's all you know. So when you get a phone call saying, do you want to come over, you have a little think about it. But we were right in the middle of, you know, we were peak raving then. In 1992, it was still going off properly. And
well, it was going off properly for the likes of yourself in England because of the warehouse parties and the DIY and all the different underground parties that you were, because dance music was at the forefront there. We were sort of a year behind with the thing.
Yeah, do you know what, actually? That's one of the things I loved when I came over, one of the things that blew me away, because, yeah, you're right, like you're saying, DIY, we were doing a lot of stuff for them. Castle Morton was 92, the biggest free party that ended up bringing in the criminal justice bill. So things were kind of changing around that time, and it was just before the super clubs started to come in. So it was kind of not tailing off, but it was in a period of a little bit of change
I remember that period too, especially in England and here. There was a recession around that time. It was all the Thatcher era would have been around that time.
And there was a recession for quite a while. I mean, she did her best to wipe out everything, didn't she? I mean, she was horrific.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, that's kind of what helped build, especially, well, from what I know, in the north of England, where there were a lot of manufacturing towns where because of the recession, all the factories had closed down. So you've got loads of industrial units that are just lying there empty, and no one's got any money. Loads of people aren't working, and you know, it just kicked off. And so 92 was when we were kind of clamping down on the warehouse parties. We were still getting away with the free parties, but they clamped down on that. They were clamping down on the travellers, and it was the time where some of the super clubs, Cream opened in October 92, I think, for the first time. So that sort of thing was where people were, you know, some people were negotiating with the police and councils and stuff to get late licenses, and a lot of them were more than happy because it took people away from all the illegal raves. So yeah, like I say, we saw all the troubles on that. That's all we knew about Northern Ireland. We got a phone call on a landline because I don't think we had mobiles back then. And you can't really do any research. I had a couple of mates from Northern Ireland, and they were just, you know, they'd laugh winding me up and that. But at the time, when I was talking to Chris, everything he was saying and talking about his music and stuff like that, back in the mainland, we were like, you knew you tried. You know, it still wasn't mainstream. So you'd walk down the street and you'd see someone who was raving. You knew they were raving. You have a look, you know, wink at them, going, yeah, you're into the clubs and raves and that. And just from talking to Chris, within sort of 2 minutes, we were like, yeah, come on, let's go over. It sounds great, this. Came over to Kelly's. Easter weekend, did this Easter Sunday and Easter Monday, 2 of the maddest nights I've ever done. Didn't know about the limiter in Kelly's. So it's like that third tune in, Digitalis, accepted and giving. Massive build up to this great hey moment. And as it hit the hey moment, limiter kicked in, and you could just about hear it in the background. If you stuck one finger in your ear, you could hear something. And I looked round, I thought, I'm going to die here. But everyone was just laughing because they knew I didn't know about the limiter.
They knew it was coming.
Yeah. And I remember sat in a hotel before the Easter Sunday, about 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and we were looking out on the car park. And it was just loads of Ford Escorts, and you know, all the cars of that day just coming down and parking up, and coaches and boots going up, and everyone getting out in puffer jackets and baggy kecks and stuff. And we were like, yeah, this is proper tribe. This is brilliant. And dancing already at 4 o'clock. And when we went down to open the club, we were in there in the barn, and you know, back then it was like loads of corrugated iron and stuff like that. And it was like a zombie film, because all you could hear was like, let us in from outside. We're going, what? As soon as the doors opened, it was just like a river of people, and within 20 minutes, the whole place is just jumping and going crazy. And I think that kind of stuck with me over all the time I've been over in Northern Ireland, is that I think I haven't met anyone who wasn't affected by the Troubles, and I think that living under that cloud, I think, for a while. When people went out, they went out properly. You know, they were in the mood. They were out to party and just forget about everything. I mean, we thought we had problems. We didn't have troops on the street, stuff like that. But over there, it's just like, whoa, come on, let's have it. And so I think,
I think that's what brought my generation together. You know, people that did go to dance events was they were fed up with the troubles. They were fed up seeing people getting killed, and they were fed up with just, you know, like. There was definitely, but at that time and day, there was loads of jobs. Well, I wouldn't say there was loads of jobs, but there was a good factory presence there. You know what I mean? You had all the factories, and the town was buzzing. There was a lot of money and stuff. You know, people had money to go out at the weekends and stuff like that there too. Yeah. But when that all went, you know, that just killed it all too, to be honest. But to be fair, like Paul and them started doing wee bits and pieces in the town, but when they got the point, we all of us would have went to Kelly's together.
Yeah,
but and I worked in Kelly's at the time too, but we would have, when the point came along, it was just at the right time. You know what I mean? Especially for the northwest area, because then we would have got a lot of people from Belfast and Donegal, and a lot of people from Portreath, Portrush, Ballymena, Antrim, all over the place. You know, coming to the point. But we'll talk about the first night that you played in the point, which was Halloween '92, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think after doing Kelly's that Easter weekend, we got a call from Paul to get us over, and I think you're right about. I think talking, you know, over the years, I talked to Chris about it. We used to, you know, when I played Kelly's, we'd go back to State Airs and just play tunes all night and dig out all the B-sides, and we'd be talking about music and that. And I think you're right about the point in. Just hit a seminal moment. I think every club has its day or has its period where it's new before everyone gets on it, and you get all the trouble that comes with it, or just something slightly changes. You haven't got that sort of raw excitement about it, and I think it was right for the point in to come in then when it did.
Because it was the pinnacle. It started when dance music was sort of hitting big over here. As I said before, you were about a year and odds in front of us, so it was all new and underground to us. And for the likes of you coming over and other DJs coming over, it must have been exciting to see that being relived again after you went through that stage yourselves in England.
It was like having another go at it. You'd come over and we'd just be like, whoa, hold on a sec, this is like the proper level of excitement that was starting to tail off for a little bit in England and wherever. So it was like a really lovely couple of steps, not massively backward, but just for the excitement,
yes.
Of how excited.
Because you were still playing the tunes that you were playing in England at the time, but it was just that whole newness of it.
Yeah. You didn't have to go back a couple of years to introduce people to tunes or anything. It was like everyone was just up for it, and it was brilliant. And I've seen such a massive variety of DJs go over there and just be, you know, I mean, Orbital talk about Northern Ireland coming over. I mean, down there, and that's why their tune Belfast is written. But everyone talks about that. Everyone who came over at that time, everyone talks about how special it was. You know, the energy and the buzz that was going on in Northern Ireland at that time. And I think I've been so lucky over the years to jump from, you know, start off at Kelly's when it was booming, and to then hit the point. Do you know what I mean? And then keep going, and we keep, you know, still have reunions from that. And I think it's a tribute to it that it's not lost that. It's not lost the energy to it, because some reunions you go to, it's like, right, it might be time to pack it in now. Do you know what I mean? Right. But some you still capture that energy. I think. Well, you know, we're all a bit older. I don't think the dancing is that lost.
I know. Well, we can still party like a best then, but what was it? So we'll go back to the first night you played the point, Halloween '92. Can you describe what it was like that first night for you?
Well, this was probably the first time I actually went over the border, down to on the way down to the point, in the back of I think Paul was driving. We're in the back of the Ford Escort we were in, and we were hammering down these country lanes, you know, down by the loch and on the way up to Quigley's Point. And all of a sudden, just out of the countryside, we just came up to this concrete. I mean, I'm preaching, you know what it was like, but for me, I was like, what is going on here? You know, concrete checkpoint, all concrete, floodlights, just troops coming from all over the shop. This one with a mirror underneath the car. And I'm just sat there with my nose pressed against the side window. And I look up and there's a gun barrel just tapping on the window. So I went, all right, and I wound it down. That's for all you young people, that's what we had to do. Wound the window down. And there's a guy there with a gun, just leans in. He goes, where are you going? He's a Scouser. I said, just went down the road to DJ. At the point, he went, all right, okay. Who are you? I said, I'm Vertigo. He went, okay. And he looked left and right, and he just went, listen, lad, we'll be in there in a bit, right, me and my mate, but don't let on to us because we're not allowed to. It's boss down there. Have a great night. See you later. I was like, right, okay, sound. Wound the window up. Then they waved us on, all the checks and everything. And we got through the front door, and that's where I met you, and you took me up, we were backstage, weren't we, and just chatting away. And we were just like that, a pair of us going, yeah, kindred spirits, just buzzing off the tunes and everything, which really clicked. And I didn't really get a chance to have a look at the club, just kind of came in the front, and that was it. And it got to the time like, right, you're on now. And you came into the DJ box, and it was so hot in there. All the dry ice and smoke and everything, couldn't see anything, but the moisture off the ceiling. Put the first record on, and there were drops coming down off the ceiling onto it. So I was like, right, okay. And I didn't know what to do because you're putting vinyl on and needles and trying to keep it clean. So in the end, I ended up bent over the deck so that all the drops were hitting me on the back of my neck. I was going, oh yeah, and but just to keep the vinyl clean, so the needle didn't bounce. So I was just looking down and taking all the water on the back. And so a couple of tunes in, you know what it's like, you're always a bit nervous, and until you've got a couple of mixes in, and it seems to be going all right, no one's thrown anything, so it's like all right. And I think the dry ice just started, the smoke just started to clear a little bit, and I looked up and I remember thinking, whoa, what? And I kind of looked around and was going, is this a film or what? Because it was Halloween. Everywhere there was witches, skeletons, pantomime horses, people in fat suits, all sorts of fancy dress all over the shop, witches hanging off the roof going, come on! Everyone just going, come on! It's like, what the hell is going on here? And then the smoke cleared further. And over on the left, you remember they had the open fires, and 5 or 6 lads there with the tops off. With the tops off, or just ramming wood into the fire, just coming out sideways. And I was just like,
health and safety would have closed the point down.
They wouldn't have got let in. It was just like, I was like, what the hell have I walked into here? Already, the energy was just up there, and it just kept going. And unbelievable. Because it was just nice and low ceiling and hot and close and intimate, and everyone was there in your face, and it was just wicked.
You always described the point to me as the same as Quadrant Park, or Quadrant Park, sorry.
Yeah, Quadrant Park. Yeah, where the energy of that.
For people that don't know what Quadrant Park was, it was a big club in Liverpool back in the day, wasn't it? Like a warehouse.
Yeah, up in Bootle. It was all the lads went on from there. John Kelly, Andy Carroll, Mike Nola, went on to do other clubs in the city, and James Barr, and then obviously Cream. They kind of moved into that. But Quadrant Park was. I mean, just Google videos of Quadrant Park, and in the early 90s. It was again, that was short-lived before all trouble kicked off and what have you. But when that was at its peak, you couldn't. It was like a Beatles gig. You couldn't hear the tunes for people shouting and whistling and cheering and stuff like that. And it was that sort of energy in
the same sort of energy that we had in the point on.
Yeah.
But then, as you know yourself, like you've been coming over to Derry and over to Northern Ireland for about the last 30 years, and like you're sort of an adopted son of Derry because you've done all gigs in Derry. Like you've done the point, you've done Rude for Us. Then after that, you would have done Fusion. You do stuff for Jigga here too, and you've never left really this town. To be honest, I think one time you were going to actually move here.
I was thinking about it, but then I realised the weather was even worse than Liverpool, so I kind of didn't. Plus, it felt like I was living there already. Really, I just came back to Liverpool for a rest, and then went back over, and it kind of spread out from there as well. As I did circus down in Banbridge, and loads of mad little places. Some that I can't.
You done loads. I remember you doing when Billy was bringing you over to you, and he would put you in the Point maybe on a Friday. You could be in Circus on a Saturday and back in the Point on a Sunday, or maybe somewhere else, or maybe Paradise Lost or something in Belfast. But you were doing wee clubs. I remember you were doing one night. You were doing a club that was down in East Belfast, and then you were doing a club the same night in West Belfast. You know what I mean? So you were going through the two.
I'm pretty sure that night it was. I mean, that was like when, because a lot of the time in Northern Ireland, you kind of got away with it. It was like, oh, I'm the piano player, I'm okay, and I kind of probably found myself in a few situations that I really shouldn't have been there. You know, because it wasn't something to mess with. There were serious people in it, and
there was.
It's. I think at one time it brought it home to me. I did a club on the Falls Road and then one by the Shankill Road. And got taken to almost the border, and half the crew in the car had to get out, and another crew get in, and try me there. And the bouncers, just one in front of me, came, met me from the car, walked me in, said, "Don't talk to anyone, don't go anywhere, just stay in the DJ box." And I was having a laugh. I just, a couple of drinks and that, and I finished my set, and I just sneaked out of the DJ box, and I was chatting to. I'd always go out and chat to everyone. Everyone's got the story.
That's what I remember more about you. You would have taught, even in the Point, like you would, you got tortured by people on there too, but you always had time to sit and chat to, people about music and about, they were always interested where you came from and what you were doing and what was the scene like in England and stuff. Then your tips. But you had a really, really big following with your tips that you had on Grun. You and your manager that from the start. I remember from the start of you coming over here, like there was Love Cabbage and Happy Pigs and things. That would be some of your earlier ones, wouldn't it? And they were all, they were even selling them in Kelly's and places too, and all over your tips. Like you had a good business with your tips and stuff. Your live mixtapes from back in the day.
Yeah, I mean they were just kind of something I was doing anyway. I had a rough turnaround on set of about a month. You'd feed tunes into your set, but by the end of the month, you kind of have a solid set that you worked out. So I just started recording them, and we put, a couple out in the shop, in the shops, sent them out to record shops, because that was back in the day when all the new tunes were coming in. White vans were just pulling up out, because I used to work in 3-beat. And white vans would just pull up with loads of white labels going, right, what do you want out of these? And you play it. It was that buzz. It's not like, I want to sound like an old gimmer here now, but it's not like today where everything's digital and within 30 seconds you can find out what a tune is and get a copy of it, or someone will pass you a copy or whatever. That was part of the buzz. So there was a genuine interest in tunes and where they came from, and also what I was saying before about it was kind of before the superstar DJ thing, about chatting to people. Like I said earlier on, we were all part of the same tribe. We knew we were into the same thing. We were all buzzing off the music. We were all buzzing off the clubs. We were all buzzing off what was keeping us buzzing. And so it was part of your tribe. And the whole thing about the dance scene was that it gave a bit of a lost generation a bit of hope and a bit of a reason to come together. And I think
give them a release too, from just day-to-day life.
But I think it's interesting what you were saying before, because I was really curious coming over to Northern Ireland. I wanted to meet people and get first hand, because you know what the news is like. It's always slanted one way or the other. And I met loads of people from all all walks of life, and then like you said, I'd be in clubs and I'd meet people from all walks of life who were for the first time brought together by the dancing, by the music, and by what was going on. And I find that really fascinating. I'm kind of writing some stuff at the moment which looks at that a little bit. Maybe it might end up as a book, I don't know, but
I know you've talked about that before. Yeah, you've done a bit of research, and you've quizzed all us boys too, and things that we can remember too, which isn't very much, to be honest.
Yeah, I've tried to fact check everything you said, and I've just got no chance. There's no way.
No.
But it was the tapes. Going back to the tapes, so we just started giving them the lads who were driving the vans around the country, and they'd drop 10 off at a record shop, and if they sold them, we'd get the money back. So. And it just boomed, but it was a great way of promotion. People would hear There was one time I was in India and I went through Pushkar and a camel market up northwest India, and pushed these camels aside. And there's a little old guy with a tape stall all just out, and right in the middle of the Vertigo tape. I was going, okay, that'll do. I've spread quite far.
You reached it down there.
Yeah, and then there was that time I was walking through Derry, and walked past this bootleg tape store, and this, what, you're right, and this lad shouted, "Hey lad, do you want the latest Vertigo tape? What was it called, Charlie?"
No batteries required.
No batteries required, actually. Yeah, he said, "Do you want the latest Vertigo tape? No batteries required." Now, one, I was Vertigo, and two, I know I didn't do a tape called No Batteries Required, so I was interested. So I went over to him, and you were like, "No, come on, let's go and get a pint." I was going, "No, let's have a little chat with him." You go, "No, come on." And I looked at you, I know he's desperate for a pint, but I didn't think he was this desperate. So I went over, he's going, "Do you want it? It's Vertigo, it's brilliant." I was going, "Oh, nice one, mate." He said, "Why are you?" I said, "Oh, Vertigo." He went, "Oh, Charlie, you should have told him, you gave me this tape, didn't you?" And I turned around, you were just running.
He actually bought. I bootlegged it, but it was one night we were playing in Rude, and I just says, "Fuck this, I'm going to tip him." Because where DJs be like a big tip live sets and stuff. So I tipped him, but actually it was a really big, I think it was one of birthdays or something like that there, I can't remember. But anyway, it was a great set, and I had it for personal use, and then I said to myself, "You know what, I'm going to fucking put this out." But I put it out and sold it in the club, but the guy that was doing the stall with all the tips, he fucking bought one. And then I was walking past the stall a Saturday, was way before you come over, and I seen it then. I thought, for fuck's sake, he's actually bootlegged my bootleg, so I'm not making much money in this now because he's fucking bootlegged it. But the day that me and you walked past it when we were heading to the Metro for a pint, and you spied it, and I was, "Oh, for fuck's sake, he's going to see this now, like, and I'm dead." Like, or I thought, no, I'll just say no, honey, I'll not know me. But then your man sunk me. He said that when I realised who it was, that it was me that sold him a tip. But I did sell him a tip, but I didn't get him to bootleg it. So it was a bootleg of a bootleg. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but it was, you know what? It's a bit of a matter of pride, that, actually, because a bit later, probably, I don't know, maybe 2010, something like that, I sort of digitized them because they were all recorded on C90, and digitized them, tried to clean them up a little bit, and put them up on the net. And there's still loads of people who upload them to YouTube, and I love going on there and watching, because I had no idea. People are going, "Oh, what's your track list?" I've got no idea, mate, because loads of them were white labels and stuff that I was getting from 3 Beats. So I had no idea what they were, and so there's a massive old school community now who have been through loads of my tapes, and there's track listings on there, and I can't join in because people slating and going, "Why isn't Vertigo helping out here? He's dead aloof."
You can't remember them?
Yeah, I haven't got a clue. I haven't got a clue what they are. So I'm just like that, going, "Oh, is that what that is?" Right. So I'm looking through my vinyl. I'm like, "Oh, right, okay." So I was thinking the other day, I might some of the more popular ones, I'm toying with the idea of re-recording them off vinyl at like proper quality now, and just sticking them up as well, because there's a lot of love for them. Loads of people were passing them around on tape, and loads of them got chewed up in car stereos, and or borrowed or lost at parties or whatever.
Or stole, or see when we used to have parties, things were lofted all the time, like, you know what I mean? Records,
but that's flattering. That's flattering, you know what I mean? Not records, but if people are nicking me tapes, what have you, sound. That's I
came across a tape from '92 the other day, and it's Colin Bass on one side and me on the other, and I was going, "Well, if that's fucking '92, it's bound to be rough as fuck," like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, Steve, as we were saying, 30 years to the point, and what was your first impressions of the club? Well, I know you spoke there about Halloween, and that was your first impression when you looked out and seen everybody go mad and the atmosphere and all there. But was it like that for you all the time?
Yeah, it kind of developed a little bit, because I kind of got to know loads of people in there, and loads of people were my mates, and sometimes I'd be booked through Paul, sometimes I was booked through Billy, and Ian Jacko would bring me up from Belfast, and that's how I met Mark Jacko. And I'd meet other DJs over there, and sometimes Tricks would start coming over from Liverpool. And we kind of had different music. I loved it because sometimes when I came over, I was scared by how fast some of the tunes were. It was a little faster than I was used to playing, and sometimes I'd be playing tunes and trying to make it go faster with, it'd be a +8, and I'd be winding it on a little bit. But what I loved about it was that I kind of grew with the club a little bit, and people got used to what I was playing, and I kind of. If it was fast, I kind of didn't finish off, and I was quite happy with that. Middle of the night or something like that. It's great because it all contributes to the night. It all builds up.
It does, I
think one of the...
Because I know for myself that I've heard people saying, say you were on the middle of the night and there was a guest on at the end. No, they were saying, Vertigo was far better than if they should have had him on at the end. But it was, you were reconditioning everybody until to the style of music that you like to play. You played what the point wanted to hear to start off with, but as they got to know you, you were able to recondition yourself and play what you wanted to play.
Yeah, and I found it interesting because I was coming over and hearing loads of tunes that were blowing the place. It was going mad, and I was like, right, what is this? I don't know these tunes. I was picking up a lot of tunes by watching you lads play. Do you know what I mean? And but then obviously I couldn't play them because you'd all played it. But it just sort of introduced me a bit to that, and I loved some of them. So I kind of found my own little Northern Ireland sound a little bit, I suppose. It wouldn't work me finishing off. A couple of times they put me on last, and everyone going, "Oh, we were building up, and now it's just gone a bit down there. It's good, but it's not. It's not like that." It's fair enough. I think one of the most underrated skills in DJing is being a warm-up DJ, being a good warm-up and doing it properly. Because you contribute to the night, you just build through. And I think loads of funny stories. As the police got more on top, I remember one night coming through that checkpoint again, and the Guardia brought search cabins up, which were like converted shipping containers, I think, and they just dropped them by the thing, because by this time there were coaches coming over from Derry and with proper party buses. Do you know what I mean? You could hear them coming a mile off and see them bouncing down the road. And I remember we were at the checkpoint as one came in, and everyone knew the drill by then. So anything anyone had gone, already.
Before they went over the border.
Yeah, because they knew what was going to happen. So the police were like that, went, right, come on, everybody off through there, take your clothes off. And it was hilarious watching it, because it was like summer holiday, everyone just bouncing off the coaches into these porter cabins. They'd be bouncing, and everyone would come out the other side 10 minutes later wearing different clothes, because they'd all swapped clothes in there, and all just like everyone, whoa. But the best thing about that was that by the time they got back on the coach, every single person was buzzing their tits off. And when they got to that club, it's just straight on the dance floor, and the energy was just going boof, boof, boof. And it was amazing. It was always getting raided. It was like, it was on a time limit, but the way we kept it going, and the way you lads kept it going, and just the joy that we had playing over there, the time that we had in that place.
We had some memories and some buzzes, but I think down to the people that kept it going was Frank and Sally Short, to be fair.
Absolutely. I mean, they, under so much pressure. I mean, if you don't know the story, Google it, have a look.
You can Google it, or it's on the Point on Reunion page, because we'll not actually get into the full story, but the injustices that was done to the Short family for trying to run a business, and being corruption in the Gardaí and everything, and then they had against the IRA were threatening them and burnt the club down, blah blah blah, and then it was just an onslaught for him. But he held his ground. He run the club every week, because he knew what it meant to people that about the club, that it was to come down. Although he was making a win a pound, stuff like that there. But to be fair, Frank tried his best to stop anything getting through that door. He put the searches on. He put and there was nothing more that man could have done.
Also made it a venue and an atmosphere where everyone felt comfy, everyone felt welcome. Serving bits of food, looking after people. There was double beds in the bar as you walked in that side, and then I don't know. It was just, they weren't like just greedy out to make money or anything. It did feel like a proper sort of family unit when everyone was included. And
like I remember even Frank and Sally's kids, even the youngest ones, been there behind the bar or watching all this, you know, like the clubbers coming on and the music and all, and they were enthralled by it. But although Sally and Frank would have probably put them up to their bed then, like after, but it was just to show them. But you seen them children grew up, like, you know what I mean, and then for their father to be sentenced to jail for it was just terrible, you know what I mean? But I think it all boils down to Frank and Sally, and they made the more sacrifices than anybody.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. The legacy of that just rolls on through the years. You know, all the clubs you did afterwards in Derry and stuff like that. I mean, that's where I think one of the first times we've been out drinking most of the day, I think, and we got to the club. I think
I know what you're going to talk about.
Was this doing Rude or Duffy's or something?
Duffy's. Aye, I was doing Rude. Aye.
Yeah.
It was the night of I took you to your first riot. Was that it?
Yeah. yeah. That was God, that was crazy. Yeah. I mean, it's loads of stuff I've seen like that, and but we've been out, and it was my round or something. I came back with a pint, and you gone off to the toilet. So I walked back over and I saw you there. Went, oh yeah, here's your pint. He turned around and looked at me really funny. I went, oh, what's up with him? So I slapped me round the back of the head. And this lad turned around and looked at you. Well, you turned around and looked at me and went, I was like, all right, he's got a bit grumpy. I was only talking to him a minute ago. So what's the matter with you? We were just having a laugh. And then you came back from the toilet and just stood next to me. And I went, he went, oh, you met our twin brother, have you? I was like, oh, right, oh, sorry, mate. I didn't mean to smack you around the back of the head. I think the only
reason... they didn't pull the fucking head off you.
No, I know.
You know how like chair can be.
The only reason he didn't was because he was that surprised that anyone would slap him round the head and then still keep talking to him. It's like, yeah. So
and give him a pint.
No,
I think after these many years, you know the difference between me and Jared.
I do now, yeah.
But Duffy's No was really, really good. That came off the back. We started Duffy's about 4 or 5 weeks before the point closed down. Yeah. And it was good because we had that then when the point fell through to go to. But there's been, since we started the podcast, there's been a lot of messages and a lot of people messaging to say about, bringing back the nostalgia and stuff like that there and talking about it. It's really, it's been a delight for people to listen to it about it again. We love their good nights.
I think there's lots of stories in that because it's not just music. Music was the sort of glue that pulled everyone together.
Yeah.
But there was people ended up getting married from there. Lifelong friends.
Children.
I've known you 30 years. I've known Paul 30 years. Colin Bass. All the DJs who were doing the reunion, Cleve, Jacko, you, Paul, Colin Bass, Darren McMiniman. I've known you all a long time. And so I've got a lot of good mates over there from a long time. And like you said, I used to chat to everyone because I don't know if you can tell, but I like chatting. And I've got loads of people who I think of as proper friends actually.
Well, like they say, there's not many people that would meet doing this sort of thing and stay friends for over 30 years. I've been to your wedding, vice versa, blah blah blah. You stayed at my house when the kids have wrote you a bill for every time you stayed and all that there, and you've been over when Man City's got relegated 3 times.
I think that was a bit. I still think that was a bit expensive, that bill, but they won't let up.
No, they won't let up pay. But it was the Dillon Resort they said you were staying on, so it wasn't just like any house. Like
I called it the last resort.
The last resort? Or they call you Uncle Buck? Jeez, you just fell off your chair there. Typical Uncle Buck style. But no, really looking forward to it. We're less than a week. Tickets, it's telling Paul today, there's about 30 tickets left in general, all over. So that's going to sell out at the end of this week. And then it'll be people messaging saying, oh, I never got my ticket. They've been warned. So there's not really much we can do about that. But really looking forward to it, and all the DJs are looking forward to it. I think you're on middle night or something like that. I think Lee's finishing it off as far as I know. But you're on sort of
typical.
But sure, that's what you'll like anyway. You like to play. I think it'll be buzzy from we open anyway. You know what I mean? So,
No, it's I'm more than happy. Yeah, Gleave. I mean, even now, I watch Gleave DJ, and you know when he does his digital stuff, you know he runs the digital DJ school and stuff like that. Watching him, because it's taken me ages, but I've got to grips with all the digital stuff. Watching him,
he's unreal.
Getting noises out of it that you shouldn't really.
Then when you think like Gleave, when Gleave was 17 or 18, he won the DMC mixing competition. I remember meeting him in Dublin, and I was only about fucking, I don't know, I'd say Gleave's a year or two younger than me, but I remember meeting him and Paul Moran before I knew them in Dublin, and it was the World Cup. Was it 90? No, it was 80. 89 was it? No, I'll tell you 90. That's when it was. Sorry. And there was a big conference in Dublin, a DJ conference, so Jared was going to, and he says to me, why did you come down? I wasn't really sort of DJing, or I was interested in music and stuff, so we went down, and there was all these like PAs and stuff, but I remember Gleave being there, and I remember Paul Moore being there, but I think Malloy won a DMC mixing competition not far away from that too, another talented guy.
He was some DJ, well, he is some DJ, you know what I mean? I've heard Glenn play loads of times, and every time you just go, well, before I met him, I kind of knew his reputation. People were going, you've got to hear Malloy, you've got to hear Malloy, Glenn Malloy, this, that, and the other. And when I heard him, it was just like, yeah, fair play, lad. You know, proper quality.
As a technical DJ, I don't think I've ever heard anybody any better, to be honest. You know what I mean? There's loads of other DJs that I love, you know what I mean? Like yourself and Jacko and Gleave and Chris Hurley and the rest of them. But technically, Malloy was unreal.
Yeah, when you see someone who's nailed it that much, you're just like, yeah, fair play, lad. Hats off, innit?
Aye. Oh no, it's unreal. Hey, I remember him phasing tunes and then putting an acapella over the top of them and then beat mixing on the middle of it, and just like it was just like a machine, and it was spot on and so tight, like, you know what I mean, sort of thing.
I used to do that. I used to have 3 decks and just, you know, phase stuff and beats and acapellas. It used to sound like the Charge of the Light Brigade. It was just like absolute shambles. I loved it, but I'm not sure anyone else did. I think I did about.
You get your practice on now for the reunion for 3 decks and putting acapellas and beat mixing and all. So anyway, Steve, so we're looking forward to getting you over. You're coming next weekend. You're staying for a couple of days. We're going to go out in the Rip on the Sunday anyway.
Yes, mate, because I believe it's your 60th birthday, isn't it?
It's my birthday, but it's not my 60th. But it's Darren McMenamin's actually 50th birthday that night too, so it'll be like a double whammy. So the squaddy's going out in the say on the Sunday. But everybody's buzzing for you coming over. And we asked for a few questions, so I'm going to ask you them now before we finished, okay? That people have submitted.
These like viewers' questions and stuff like that. Right, go on then.
So, Gav asked, what's your favourite point on tune?
Gav?
Your personal favourite? Not our Gav, not Gav.
Right, no, okay. Do you know what? I've heard. I think it was kind of my theme tune over there for a bit. Well, a lot of places it's like, "Can you hear me?" I think that was the one that always went off.
Broke it for you,
yeah.
Oh, there's loads of ones I can think of, like, but and then Martina says, who was your favourite DJ DJing along with in the point on?
Oh, in the point in, you and Paul, I think, because we kind of had similar styles of music, and we were on kind of we'd be interchangeable in those early bits. I could do early, you two follow me, and you know we'd do that, and we kind of like had a very similar taste in music, I think.
Taste in music, I remember you coming over and guessing, and then you'd be playing tracks, and I'd be saying to you, what's that? And you'd tell me, and then you wouldn't be back for 4 weeks, so I would come buy the tracks, and I'd say, fuck, Steve played this last week, so I'll get away with playing it too, you know what I mean? But it was great, because you were able to, some DJs wouldn't have told you know what I mean? They had white labels over the top of their decks, like you said, it might me and you talking before, but you seen it in the point with Colin Bass and stuff.
Yeah, because I just remember going over to the chin going, what is that? And he just looked down at the label, looked up at me, give me a wink, and pulled the corner of the label back to show me there was another label underneath. And he tortured me like that for about 3 or 4 times till I got hold of it. Till he went, all right, I'll show you what it is. But yeah, he wound me up. It was brilliant.
There was used to be a while lot of squatting and stuff for records and things like that there. And So there was. So you're looking forward to it, and we're looking forward to hearing you. How's things been normally for you? You're really busy. You've been doing some gigs, and then you've been back doing your comedy and stuff.
Yeah, like I said, I like to talk. So yeah, I've been just been doing loads of mad shows. You know, sometimes I've been DJing a long time, and so I'm writing bits and pieces about that. Like I said before, but I like writing the comedy as well. I've always been into comedy. I've always like watching it. So and it's just kind of a new thing. You know, sometimes you're just like, right, I'm plodding along a bit here. And it, you know, it's that class thing. Always do something that terrifies you, and it terrifies me sometimes.
Like me driving you to Larn or the thing to Bangor to one of your gigs.
Nothing terrifies me as much as that. I mean, like because where we were going.
Bangor.
Yeah.
You were doing comedy in Bangor.
Yeah, going to a comedy gig in Bangor, and you were driving me, and we aquaplaned on the motorway, didn't we? And nearly went into the back of that car. So by the time we got to Bangor, I was still shaking, and you know, before we went out, we were both still shaking, weren't we? And I was like, right, I'm just going out here. I'm not terrified at all because I've just survived. What? Just survived
that night you went out and done it, and you had sort of spoke about the mishap at the start of your set.
Yeah.
And it sort of broke the ice a bit, and then the crowd, you just had the crowd in your hands all night. Like, it was a brilliant gig because we had done it, mine and Sandino. So that was your first tour standing on the shoulders of ants, was it? Or?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I mean, I'm not making any money from it, but I enjoy doing it. Sometimes I do gigs to 3 people and a dog. Other times it's like 400. You know, it's exciting. I love the writing and I love the challenge of it. I thought it'd be a bit like DJing, but it's not because there's nothing in front of you and you're saying the words you've written and you're completely naked up there. If everyone's looking at you and you're not doing well, if you've got an hour show, it's a very, very long hour if it's not going down well. So you're bound
to have loads of stories like from your days of DJing and clubbing and stuff that you could bring into your sets and stuff like that there. And,
there's quite a few. There's quite a few. You know, there's almost like a set I could do. A comedy gig I could do like that and then DJ afterwards, you know what I mean? We're looking at maybe doing a little tour of that, but how that would go down, I don't know. No idea.
Do you think you'll be bringing your comedy back to Northern Ireland again?
Yeah, I'm working on a couple of shows at the moment, a couple of hour-long shows. I was doing a politics one, but I just couldn't keep up. Doing loads of animations. Yeah, just do you know what I mean? Just playing with loads of stuff and animations and videos and things like that. But yeah, there's some really surreal, stupid clowning stuff, and there's just like some straight stand-up stuff. So yeah, doing loads of stuff, just keeping myself busy and you know.
I still load bits and pieces of DJing. You were doing a couple of reunions there. Were you doing bowlers last week or?
No, we've got because unfortunately, obviously, Stu Allen died recently, and it's his kind of like memorial tribute at Bowlers next Saturday. So I'll be there next Saturday. Hundreds of DJs playing. You know, a massive sort of outpouring of love for
Stu Allen was a big.
Yeah, he's just, you know, I remember when I was first getting into dance music, just listening to him on Key 103. Yeah, just sort of, you know, one of those legendary figures, gentleman, humble. But proper old school, do you know what I mean? No attitude or ego about him. Always lovely. So yeah, we're doing that next Saturday, and then flying over to you lot on a week on the Saturday afterwards. So yeah, really looking forward to it. I always have a great time over there. So I'm going to get plenty of rest before I come over because I know what it's
like. That's all you do when you come here. So you go into my spare room and sleep for fucking 2 days. Used to be when you come over before me and you've been in the ruck drinking brandy all day and.
Yeah, but I've got a lot on these days, Charlie. You know, I can't be doing that anymore, unfortunately. No, actually, all I do, I go in the spare room and I've got a secret bottle of brandy that I just drink there because you drink too much of it. So I had to stop.
Right, okay. I'll remember that one. I'll get my own stuff sorted. But come here, Steve. It's been great to chat to you on the podcast. And,
yeah, you too, man.
The viewers that hopefully maybe somebody, you were saying about that tip that I had bootlegged on, you know, batteries required. If anybody's listening to this podcast and they have a copy, if they could send it our way, just DBC, because
I'd really love to hear that because I remember chasing you going, hey, what's going on here? And so yeah, I never actually bought it. So yeah, I'd like to hear that. Sounds like a great take.
And it was great seeing you over the summer too. You know, we all done Jigga Jigga in the summer, the festival down in Malhead, and we had a great weekend that weekend. And it was great seeing you. You know,
that was quite ironic actually because you know, talking to Stephen Porter about it, and we were talking the first time we met. I came out of the loo in Duffy's, I think, and there was a little 16-year-old lad there going, are you Vertigo? Sorry about the accent, but you know, and I said, yeah. He's going, and the two of us were just like that for ages. And it was Stephen, and I remember, you know, when I bump into him ever since, he'd always go, listen, I always remember you like chatting to me, taking the time. He does, to me. And
I remember him, he used to come to Rood and he used to sneak in. I think he was only 15 or 16. But I remember him always been up. We used to have mine the garage room down the stairs, and then we had the main room up the stairs. And I remember him always being over us talking to Kevin Brown, and he talking to me and be saying, "What's that tune?" And not there. And he was interested. No, it was just there on him. And to think what he's done from then so far up, like, you know what I mean?
He's just flying in it, and it couldn't happen to a nicer lad. Do you know what I mean? It's fair play to him. He's soaked it up and he's just giving it back. He does it properly for the love, and he does some amazing events. You know, so
that boutique festival, although it was probably the end of the summer, so it's maybe a bad time of getting people down, did that, but he still went ahead and done it, and it was a fantastic festival for a boutique festival. And they have Sasha play that intimate gig on a Sunday was unreal, although I was too worse for wearing Saturday night. I never got to Sunday, but I know you were there. I was to meet you, but I never got down. But apparently Sasha was unreal.
He took the roof off, even though it was open air. He took the roof off. Do you know what I mean? He was I've seen him obviously a lot over the years, but yeah, he was on fire. And
your people used to confuse your tips and his tips together.
Yeah, I mean, part of it, loads of like you did, like you bootleg my tape. Loads of my tapes were, I mean, pretty much just across the northwest of it, you know, Liverpool, Manchester, Leeds, across the M62, and up into Scotland and Northern Ireland and stuff. But down in London, I think loads of them were bootlegged and sold as Sasha, because no one really knew me down in London. But Sasha was kind of, you know, on the up. So if you go on YouTube and look for uploaded copies of my tapes, there's loads of arguments going on there. That's another reason I don't get involved. I just read it, because there's loads of arguments going on. Nah, Vertigo couldn't mix this well. This is Sasha, because they were sold as Sasha 11 or Sasha at the Hacienda and this and over, which is a fantastic sort of backhanded compliment to me. You know, because he's, you know, we all know how good he is.
But you were up there at that time, the same as Sasha, like you were.
Yeah, I was playing loads of the same gigs and stuff, but obviously.
You were one of the busiest DJs in England, like, to be fair.
Yeah, but different trajectories, and he's fair play to him. He's just, you know, he's made a fantastic career out of it, and it was good to see him actually.
Just a quick question before we go here: did you see the Hacienda had their 30th?
No, what, the party or the documentary? There's a BBC documentary, isn't there? I haven't seen.
There's a documentary, but there was a party there last Saturday past. A couple of people sent me videos and photos of it. Looked fucking amazing, hey.
Oh, it was the Mayfield. It was the Mayfield one.
Aye.
Yeah. Look great.
But then we'll have our 30th next week. So.
Yeah, exactly. Be better than that.
Well, let's hope. Come here, Steve. It's been great to chat to you today and catching up with you, and it's been a pleasure as always. And we'll see you next week at the Point and Reunion 30. And as I said, there's very limited tickets left, so you may tell them to get their tickets bought if they want to see you.
Right, listen, everyone, get your tickets. Okay? Just to check, you keep saying it's next week. It's not next week, is it? It's 2 weeks.
Oh, it's not. It's not this weekend, but the following weekend.
Okay, right. Listen up, kids. Get your tickets, because it's not this weekend, it's the following weekend, right? And there's only 7 tickets left. And after that,
since we've gone on there.
After that, they'll be on resale like thousands of pounds. So, you know, get them while you can. Looking forward to seeing you all. Big love. Thanks for having me on, Charlie.
No bother. Thank you for coming on, Steve. It's been an honour and a pleasure. Death, despair, and blindness, as you would say.
Yeah, amen to that, brother. I'll see you in a couple of weeks.
See you next week, kid. Bye.
Take care, lad.